So hello guys. So good evening to all my students in marketing. So specifically my HM and tourism students. So right now we're having a video recording regarding the topic about the pricing strategy in the tourism industry. So as we discuss over the online platform, we have a 1 month suspension of classes due to the nCoV or the coronavirus that's spreading around the country and even in the world. So as a precautionary measure and as an announcement of our president, our classes are suspended until April 12. So as our medium of communication to all of you and also discussion is we're going to have online learning, and one thing that I'm going to use is this video recording where you're gonna see how our topic will go through. Okay, so it's very important that you will watch this video. Specifically, our topics will be discussed more on online, so means there is no face-to-face interaction that will happen, but more on usage of technology. Okay, so let's start. So our topic for this night is about the module 7 in our subject, which is the pricing strategies in the tourism industry. So these pricing strategies in the tourism industry or hospitality industry as well are really important, given the fact that during our discussion about marketing mix is that price is really one of the things why customer value or buy a certain product. So with the use of price, it helps a product to put a value, and at the same time it helps the company to earn profit on how much that they're going to sell this kind of product. Okay, so I have a 47 slides presentation that will be uploaded in your Google Classroom. So please bear with me and go with me per slide, which I will going to discuss here, so you would have a guide about the terms and also the differences on each areas. Okay, so on our first slide, or the second slide rather, is about the learning objectives. So for the learning objectives of this session is we have to discuss the pricing, and at the same time what are the principles behind pricing, how is it very important to have this kind of pricing strategy, and also we have to enumerate some of the factors that affect the price in the marketplace itself. We also need to identify different approaches or strategies that are using in the marketing world, wherein price is really one of the essential part of it. Okay, and at the same time we need to explain what is the logic behind the revenue management and also the adjustment, and then how people are doing in terms of price increase or price reduction. And also we have to discuss the impact of pricing in our industry. Okay, so let's start. So on your slide number three rather, you're going to see there the definition about price. So as we all know, when you say price, it's the amount that the customer pays for the product, the amount of money exchanged for something of value. So these are the value, or these are the things that you can see on the product, in which this helps you to know how much are you going to spend on a certain product. And price is really essential in a product, because you cannot buy the product if there is no price, and at the same time the company is only accumulating a revenue with the desired price. So most of the time price refers to suggested retail price. These are the terms that you're going to witness in our industry. You can also classify price as rent, tuition fee, professional fee, or anything that you're going to pay in exchange for value or product itself. Okay, so you call it a price. So on the fourth slide, price is the only marketing mix element that produces revenue. Okay, so always remember that that's the only element in the marketing mix that you can only earn profit, revenue, or any other medium of success in terms of money in the business. And also, some expert rate pricing and price competition as the number one problem facing by the marketing world. So in that way, the marketing world, specifically marketers, one of their mostly primary concern is the pricing. Minsan nahihirapan sila to put price on the product because we all know that most of the consumers are price sensitive, and at the same time they only buy product if this product is really beneficial or if that product will fit to their budget. That's why some of the marketers, they have this kind of way on how consumer will able to behave or adopt on that kind of product. Okay, so always remember that the price is one of the primary factor. This is the value or the term that is used on how much money are you going to invest or spend for you to avail that certain product. Okay, so let's move on to key concept relevant to pricing. So that's on the slides 5 down to 11. So when you say key concept relevant to pricing, it means that when you're doing pricing, these are some of the terms that you're going to encounter and at the same time has an impact. When you say impact, there is a big role or responsibility for why is it these terms are usually applied in pricing. Okay, so our number one is about sales. Okay, so this is on slide number 6, the sales. When you say sales, these are the total money that the company gets based on the product they sold. So usually sales, you can get the sales by having a mathematical operation on price times the quantity sold. So again, price times the quantity sold. This is the formula of sales. So you can get sales if you use those formula. So you can double check that on the PowerPoint slide that I will be going to give to all of you. And also, in addition, sales is the major parameter of the business if they earn a money from the customer. So using sales, you're going to have a picture of how much are you going to sold to the customer. So these are very important, specifically for those accounting purposes. Okay. So on your second slide, you're gonna see there the revenue. So revenue means the total income or profit that the company keeps after all expenses have been paid for. So it's short, these are somehow term is gross profit. So usually the revenue, the income or the gross profit, you can only get this by making the sales deducted to the expenses or sales minus all the expenses. So all the expenses means these are the things that you put as an investment for the business. So say for instance, the raw of cost of goods sold, the manpower, for the wages of the employee, for the utilities. So all those things are what we call expenses. So you're going to deduct this on your sales, then you will able to get the revenue already or the gross profit in short. Okay, so I have here an example where you're going to see how revolutionized it is. Okay, so the third one is what you call the fixed cost. So when you say fixed cost, fixed, so it means steady na siya doon. Okay, so these are the costs incurred due to operations of the business, so do not fluctuate when volume of the sale. So what does it mean? Ang cost, these are the things that you earn by producing the output itself. Okay, but it's not changing. So it means whatever output you produce, the cost or the fixed cost is still fixed, or it will not be changing. So kumbaga, if you have a bakery, then you produce more than 1,000 pieces of bread. Even though that 1,000 pieces of bread are is a lot of in terms of quantity, but still in terms of yung bayad mo sa renta mo, dun sa pinagtatayuan ng bake shop mo, or even yung mga bayad mo sa mga taxes is still fixed. Meaning it will not be changed. Even though marami kang produce na output, still fixed yung binabayad mo. Ang tawag nyo doon, fixed cost. Okay? So some other examples of fixed costs are insurance fee, permits and licenses, buildings, machinery. So these are the things that are not changing even though your output or the volume is really high. Okay. Then you're going to have variable costs. So when you say naman variable cost, the costs that vary based on volume of the product that you produce. So say for instance, if you produce more than 100,000 pieces of a certain item, still, there are costs that will also vary, natataas din dahil ganun yung pinuduce mo. Example natin is utilities. So, you have water, electricity, and then other bills that pertains to utilities. So, whatever output or product you produce na mas madami, still mataas, expect mo na mataas din yung babayaran mo in terms of your utilities. Another example is the wages, yung sahod. Why? Paano nangyayari na under variable cost ang sahod? Say for instance is additional production ka ng certain items like this one, like bread. So the people will invest or will extend time of operation kasi you said to them that they will produce additional output. So it means they are going to pay them a certain overtime fee. So it means tumaas na yung wages mo. So this is what you call the variable cost. So these are the costs that vary. If the output is high, the variable cost is also high because it's changing whatever output you produce. Okay? And then you have the profit margin. So the profit margin is the level of income that is desired by the company. So yung profit margin, ito yung desired na gustong kitain ng isang kumpanya once they operating or selling a certain product. So in the hospitality industry, we have an average of 35 to 37% profit margin. So profit margin usually in the form of percentage. It's not in whole number or decimal point. It's always on percentage. So when you say profit margin in our industry, which is hospitality and tourism, it's only 35 to 37%. But in other industries such as the FMCG or the fast-moving consumer goods, so ito yung mga supermarket, these are the hypermarket department store wherein they selling consumable goods, yung mga items that is packed, their profit margin is usually in 20%. So why is it kaya that the FMCG is 20% and our industry is 35 to 37? So this is because our industry is perishable. When you say perishable, as one of the characteristic of our industry, it means that we are, easily to be distracted or to be destroyed. Say for instance, in a hotel there should be 100% occupancy rate. So it means that all of the room should be occupied. So when the room is not occupied, it means it's a waste of money, it's a waste of product, because you're paying a wages for the employee and you're paying utilities. So it's perishable. So nabulok siya. Unlike in consumer goods that it's the product is having a expiration date. So usually the expiration date comes with more than 2 years or within 2 years. So it means kaya tayo mataas dahil we're compensating all the expenses on that profit margin, given we can easily be destroyed, or we need to sell our items as soon as possible dahil wala tayong longevity na tinatawag. Okay? And then the last one about the key concept is the break-even point. So it's on slide 11. So when you say break-even point, this is where the total revenue equates with total cost, or it means equal silang dalawa, or balik puhunan. Kung ano yung pinuhunan mo, bumalik lang din sa'yo dahil yun lang din yung nabenta mo. Okay? So that is what you call the break-even point. So what you need to remember here is that when the profit is high and the cost is low, it means you earn profit. Okay? But when the cost is high and then your revenue is low, it means you incur loss. Kasi mas mataas yung ginastos mo compared doon sa mismong nabenta mo. Okay? So mostly these are some of the key things that encountered by the people. Okay? So those are the key concept about pricing that you need to remember. Okay, let's move on to another topic, which is the key factors affecting pricing. When you say key factors affecting pricing, when you're pricing a product, even if it is a high or a low, or it's an advantage or disadvantage, usually these are the things that affect you to price a certain item. Okay, so our number one factors that affect price is, of course, cost. So cost is serves to be the amount of money that you put on the product. So ito yung mga kinailangan mo para ma-produce mo yung product na yun. So these are what you call the cost. Cost affect the price of the product if the raw materials or pertinent sources exceeds or increase on its basic cost. That's why you're doing right now food costing, because for you to avoid loss or for you to sell the product with profit. Because one thing that affects pricing is the cost. When the cost is high and the revenue is low, it means you incur loss. Dahil mas madami pa yung pinuhunan mo compared doon sa nabenta mo. Okay, so these are how cost affects the certain product in terms of its pricing. Okay, so to avoid cost, most of the companies are doing costing. That's why there is a department what you call yield management and also marketing, wherein they studying how much are they going to put price on the product based on the costing that they had in terms of raw materials, in terms of production, or anything that is, supporting the product para ma-produce siya. Okay? Number two is what you call the organizational and marketing objectives. So how does it goes? In a certain company, most of the time, it's very standard that they should have an objective, a goal, or a vision. Just like in TCU, we have the vision, mission, and the philosophy, because these things are really needed for a company so that they would know if what to achieve in the future or what to expect to produce in the future itself. So most of the companies in our industry, they have its own objectives. And alam naman natin yan, when it terms of business, its primary objective is of course to earn money, to earn profit. So in that way, kaya dahil gustong kumita ng mga businesses natin under our industry, in terms of pricing, nag-uungasan sila. Like for instance, profit maximization. When you say profit maximization, as long as the market is, tightening or buying the product, you will do anything just to put profit on it because it's in demand. Another thing is brand equity growth. When you say brand equity growth, it's the practice in branding wherein your brand is getting high in terms of its brand acquisition or market acquisition kasi nga nakikilala na yung produkto mo. So, nagte-take advantage ka doon para mag-put ka pa ng more than enough price because people are buying it because of your brand, okay? So, these are the reason why is it organization and marketing objective is one thing that affect pricing. May mga polisiya ang ating mga company or ating mga establishment that affects price. Another thing, yung mga national parks or yung mga zoo, most of the time, mababa yung presyo nila dahil they are public or they are operating under the government. So it means hindi sila pwedeng magtaas ng price as long as the government mandated them to put price on it. Okay? The third one is the other marketing mix variable. So when you say other marketing mix variable, as mentioned naman natin, meron tayong 7 P's. So yung mga 7 P's na yun, it also affects pricing, such as magpapa-buy one take one ka. So syempre, kapag nagpa-buy one take one ka ng iyong produkto, you will going to shoulder 50% of the cost of the product kasi pina-buy one take one mo. Another thing, yung mga 20%, 10% off or piso promo. So whatever cost that is shouldered by that kind of promotion, these are considered to be affecting the price. Okay? Number 4, buyer perception of value and price. So it means that ito lang naman yung how people perceive on the product. So if your product is high quality, it means the price is also high. But if your product is not good enough, or should I say not in a market wherein class A yung mag-benefit, it means dapat mababa yung presyo mo. So kapag hindi ganun ka quality yung isang produkto na akalain ng isang customer, you need to put price which is fit for them. So you are not allowed to put higher price if your product is not in the good quality itself. Okay? Competition, that's number 5. Key factors that affect pricing. Because of competition, the price is also changing. So we discussed that on our market segmentation, that we have 3 types of competition. We have direct competition, indirect competition, and then the substitute services. So this competition differs with each other, and they put price depending on the type. Like indirect competition, they base their price depending on ano ba yung ceiling na price with other competitors, such as milk tea. Usually the average price of milk tea is between 50 to 70. So doon maglalaro lahat ng competitors, because if they exceed their price, there will be a moment that people will not buy it because may mas murang competitor mo. Okay? And then we have also the government regulation and taxes. That's number 6 factor that affects pricing. So when you say government and regulation taxes, most of the time the government is putting a policy in terms of pricing a certain item. Say for instance, in our business, or in our industry rather, they paying 2 types of taxes. The first one is the value added tax, or the VAT, wherein we're selling also food inside the hotel, inside the restaurant. And at the same time, we have also the income tax. When you say income tax, these are the tax that the government, specifically the local government, is getting to the business as a form of tax, in a way that doon niya binilk yung establishment niya on that city. Example natin in BGC, as far as I know, it's a 30% income tax ang kinukuha sa BGC. So it's a payment monthly by the establishment as one of the corporate social responsibility for the government. So sometimes there are companies that those taxes that they getting is putting on the price itself. Like when I was working in Togo, we're having imported goods or imported products, wherein we're paying also custom fee and also other taxes that is related from the importing. Most of the time, it is shouldered by the company, but not all the time, because sometimes we're putting that tax as one of the component of the price of that imported goods. So that is how the government regulation, also the taxing system in our country, affect the pricing of the product. Okay? And also we have here the number 7 to number 7, and then number 8, factors affecting price. So your number 8 is about the pricing in different markets. So when you say pricing in different market, sometimes there are prices that differs depending on the market. Say for instance, in the supermarket, we have here some of the famous and the most reliable supermarket in the country, which is SM Hypermarket, Rustan's Supermarket under the Rustan's, and then the Robinson Supermarket under the Robinsons. These 3 supermarket has different pricing because they caters in different market. As far as I know, when you say SM Supermarket, it caters between all classes, so from class A to E. And when you say Rustan's, usually their class is class A. Kasi when you enter Rustan's, talaga namang it's for elite market. And usually they are built in elite places, such as in Greenbelt, in BGC, or in Glorieta, or any other areas that is a business district or with class A people. And then for the Robinson Supermarket, somehow I think it's class B down to D itself. Okay, so when you buy 1.5 Coca-Cola in SM, iba ang presyo niya sa Rustan's at iba din ang presyo niya sa Robinson. And that is how price affects each other. They differ prices depending on their class of market they cater, and at the same time some of its organizational policies in terms of it. Okay, Also in hotel, you have different price of suite room when it is an economy hotel, when it is a mid-scale hotel, or when it is a five-star hotel. Even though it's a suite room, but they differs depending on the classification of the hotel. Okay? And then we have and then the 9, which is supplies elasticity of the demand. So these are the things that affects the pricing. So that's the second part of the presentation. Okay, so please bear with me. I am a little bit sleepy right now, but I need to do this so that I could upload this earlier on your GC, so you would have an idea about the pricing. Okay, so our next is about the general pricing policy. When you say general pricing policy, if you're going to do pricing, ito yung mga things that you can consider for you to start up. Okay? We only have 5 policy that you can use para makapag-costing ka or makapag-price ka ng item. Okay? So our first one type of policy in terms of pricing, which is the slide number 28, is the cost-based pricing. When you say cost-based pricing, that's self-explanatory. It means you base the price of the product depending on its cost. So most of the time, what you're going to do there is fixed cost plus variable cost, and then the total. The total, you're going to put there a markup value or your profit margin. So for instance, your fixed cost is 350 pesos, and then your variable cost is 230 pesos. So your total is 580 pesos. So, and then you want your product to put a profit margin at around 35%. So 580 times 35%, it equals to 203 pesos. So that 203 pesos will be your profit per product once you sell it to the market. Okay? So you need to plus this 580 plus 203, it's equals to 783 pesos. So in terms of commercializing the product, you're going to put a price at around 783 yung product mong ibebenta. So, yun yung tinatawag yung cost-based pricing. Okay? So, you're basing your price of the product on its costing. Like what you're doing in your food costing subject. Okay? Number 2, you have the break-even analysis and then the target profit pricing. So these are the 2 types of pricing approaches that you could also use in terms of pricing your product. The first one is the break-even analysis. The break-even analysis is a way wherein you're computing magkano ba yung dapat na kailanganin mo para masabi mo bumalik lang yung puhunan mo. So, you're putting a pricing strategy wherein kapag binenta ko tong item na to on this price, babalik yung puhunan ko in a specified time. So, ang tawag nyo doon is the break-even analysis. And then, the target profit pricing, ito naman yung nagpuput ka ng certain profit margin kung magkano yung kikitain mo so that hindi ka na magpo-compute pa ng iba. Say, for instance, you're selling cupcakes. This cupcakes, its total cost of production is around 20 pesos per piece. So, in that 20 pesos per piece, you want at least 30% markup kapag binenta mo yon. So, 20 pesos times 30%, yung total nun, ipa-plus mo ulit kay 20 pesos. So, yun yung tinatawag mong target profit pricing. You're pricing the product depending on how much value ba yung gusto mong ma-achieve or makuha per item na yon. So, again, in terms of profit margin or profit pricing, it usually comes with percentage. And then you're going to multiply that percentage to the total cost. Okay? Then you have the value-based pricing. So that's the third pricing policy, wherein when you say value-based pricing, this is about you're putting price depending on the perception of the customer. Okay? Example natin, Louis Vuitton. So we all know that this Louis Vuitton are really expensive. So you're not basing your price on your costing, but rather on how your customer will perceive kung magkano yun. So usually, you're going to gather the pricing of the product based on feedback of the customer, based on interview, or based on their perception. Like, example, I'm going to sell hot cake. So this hot cake, I'm going to ask customer or my friend if what do you think is the price if I'm going to commercialize it? So they will answer you, and then their answer, if you're going to use that as your pricing, then that is about value-based pricing. So it's about the perception of your customer that you're going to what you call this, that you're going to put price on it. Okay, then you have the competition-based pricing. When you say competition-based pricing, it's about, when you say competition-based pricing, it's about you're basing your price depending on the price of your competitor. So say for instance, the milk tea, okay, milk tea itself. So yung milk tea, you're going to put a price depending on your competitors, like in Serenity, Infinity, or in Gongcha. So you're going to do a market analysis if ano ba yung presyuhan na ginagawa ng mga competitors na yon. And then once you find out using your average way of dealing with prices, then you're going to put your price na like that, because you base that on your competitor's price. Okay, and then the number 5, or yun na pala lahat siya. So that is the third part of our discussion. So please bear with me, since given that it's very fast for me to discuss the item, since it's video recording and I don't have any more time just to extend the discussion. So please bear with me and catch with me with every words that I'm telling you. And since we don't have any interaction, like I will ask you a question, so it's only me in the video. That's why it's very short for you to watch, okay? And then the last part, or the second to the last part, is the pricing strategies. So when you say pricing strategies, these are the things that you can use as a strategy when you're going to put price na already. Kanina kasi, those are the reminders or way how you price. So it's a guide. So if you're going to start in pricing, ito yung mga dapat mong gagawin. But this time, it's more on very specific way on paano mo na siya ipipresyo individually itself. Okay? We have many examples here. So the first one is the prestige pricing. When you say prestige pricing, it is used when the product or service is positioned to be luxurious and elegant. So you put price depending if mahal siya. Say for instance, El Nido Resort, a Class A market rates at 30,500 plus per night for 3 packs. Given the El Nido is really beautiful and the area is really suitable and scenic to see, and at the same time, talagang when you go in El Nido, talagang pangmahalan. So you're going to put price on a very expensive way. So that is prestige pricing, okay? Number 2 is about market skimming pricing. When you say market skimming pricing, it employ this kind of pricing when the market is insensitive. When you say insensitive, they don't care how much it is, okay? Say for instance, consumer become price insensitive when the demand is high and then the supply is low. Like right now, since we're having pandemic COVID-19, what we need is mostly alcohol, face mask, or any other protection for ourselves. So even though the demand is high and then our supply somehow is getting low, what price it is, the consumer will buy it, even though how much it is, because kailangan na kailangan natin. And that is about market skimming, taking advantage of it. And of course, there are certain rules and regulation in doing this kind of practices. Minsan applicable lang to if you're selling bultuhan na items at kailangan mo nang umuwi. Like for instance, prutas. May natitira ka bang madami? And it's almost night at kailangan mo nang umuwi. So as a way na para hindi masira at di sayang yung araw, you're going to make an adjustment in your price na mas madaming quantity on this price only. Because it's a situational. Not to the point na kapag basic necessity, babaguhin mo yung presyo kapag mataas siya. That is illegal in the law of the Department of Trade and Industry. If the basic necessity if there is a high of demand given the situation happening right now, you are not allowed to take advantage in terms of the price of the basic necessity. It should be fixed, okay? It should not be movable in terms of pricing. And then you have the market penetration pricing. When you say market penetration, like penetration, it means that it's aggressive. So, kailangan mo siyang biglain. Okay? So, ito yung mga technique na ginagawa ng mga business if they enter or introduce a new product. Of course, we've learned in our product development or product life cycle that introduction stage, this is the stage wherein you don't need to think about ROI. But what you need to think here is about how to get your customer or how to get your market. Okay? Like, you're putting a very low price para matry nila yung produkto. Because if you are not putting a very low price, there will be times that the customer will not try your product. Even though may pa-pre-taste ka, mahal naman kapag binili. ba? Diba? So, this is a market penetration wherein you're penetrating your market. For you to penetrate your market, you're going to make your price a little bit lower compared with the current market itself. Okay? And then, our fourth one is product bundling pricing. So, the product bundling pricing is a type of pricing wherein you combine 2 or more products in one pricing. Example niyan is all the items that are selling in fast food, wherein in just only 49 pesos, you have burger, fries, and Coke already. And then, it's a one-time purchase kasi you bundle the items, 2 or more items, by just only selling these items in that way, okay? And also, in terms of product bundling pricing, ang binabundle mo lang na product should be relatable to the core product. Example natin, when I enter the supermarket, they selling biscuits and then they combine it by two pieces of coffee or coffee powdered items. So it's a bundling activity wherein for you to buy the Presto, you can also get the coffee. So it's something relatable kasi you use coffee for as your panulak when you eat the biscuit itself, okay? So that's only the number one rule in terms of bundling. It should be relatable with each other, okay? Number 5, volume discounts. So ito is napaka self-explanatory. When you say volume discount, you're buying items on a bulk and you're going to put discount on it. Example natin, when you buy 100 pieces of powdered items, 30 pesos na per piece. But if you're going to buy individually, that's 45 pesos. So, ganun yung volume discount. You're putting a discount depending on on how big or quantifiable they're going to buy. Okay? So, discount based on time of purchase. It's the number 6 pricing strategy. So, ito yung mga strategy na mostly ginagamit ng mga fast food and coffee shop para magkaroon sila ng promotion dun sa mga off-peak. When you say off-peak, ito yung mga oras in the business that they don't have any customer. So, what they need to do is to put promotion so that even though it's a very off-peak time, still, may possibility may pumunta. Example natin dyan yung mga early bird discount. So, once you go in the event or in the business as early, you're going to get a discount. Or yung mga pinopromote sometimes ng Starbucks na once you buy this kind of coffee, you get another one for only 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. So, pwede mo lang daw bilhin yung buy one take one na yan ng kape on that 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. So, that is about discount based on time of purchase. You're putting price on the product depending on the time that you're going to put this. Okay? Number 7, you have the discriminatory pricing. When you say discriminatory pricing, ito yung pricing wherein your price and product depending on its classification. Example natin, when you enter the resort, there are certain rates depending on your category. Like, if you're an adult, you're going to pay this kind of price. If you're a child, you're going to pay only lang this kind of price. And if you're a senior citizen, you're going to have a discount. So that is about discriminatory pricing. It offers price depending on your classification or your category. Okay? Then psychological pricing, number 8. When you say psychological pricing, ito yung usual na nakikita nyo in the supermarket. Like, instead of selling the items at around 1,000 pesos, you're going to sell it by 999 na lang. So, even though merong 1 peso difference, still, by your psychological thinking, mura siya. Kasi 4 digits lang and wala siyang zero. Kasi somehow, kapag nakakakita ng zero, ang isang consumer, they think that it's expensive. Because kapag millions, di ba, laging puro zero siya. So, if you're going to put price, it's only 999. But, even though medyo mura sa isipan ng consumer, 1 peso lang, still it matters. Okay? So, yun yung mga tinatawag yung psychological pricing, like 49, 89, they're not using zero as yung ilalock mong zero yung price itself. Okay? And then last one, you have the promotional pricing. So, when you say promotional pricing, it's a kind of pricing wherein you are putting price depending on your promotion. So, example natin, buy 2, get 1 for only 500 pesos. So, kapag daw bumili ka ng dalawa nitong item na to, makakuha ka pa ng isa by just only having or paying rather 500 pesos. So, yun yung mga tinatawag mong promotional pricing. Kapag mayroon siyang in touch na promotion like public selling, sales promotion, public relation, advertisement, and they use it as a medium for them to set a price, they are what you call the promotional pricing. Okay? And these are what you call the pricing strategy. So, these are very important in the what you call this in the marketing world because it's very important for you to learn how to put price on the item. Okay? And that's all about the pricing strategy. So I'm jumping to slide 46 that is about dealing with price changes. So we're down in the last part. So when you say the dealing with price changes, these are the things that a company or a department in the company is doing when they are facing price increase or price decrease. Okay? So sometimes the company is putting low price because of the following. Number 1, there is an excess inventory or capacity. So, kapag may mga sobra doon sa mismo actual na product mo, instead na wala kang gawin dyan, you're using it as a form of promotion. Like, magpapabuy 1 take 1 ka, magpapabuy 2 get 2. So, it's a way for you to attract customer if there is an excess. And also, when you're putting a low price, it's also a way of gaining your market share. So, natutunan natin yan when you say market share, this is a way how consumer buys your product. This is your share on the total category of the business. Okay? So, you can only achieve or gain this kind of share if marami kang consumer. Okay? And sometimes, nagtataas din, ito naman, sa situation na nagtataas ang presyo, because of inflation. So, we know that inflation is the study of how price move in the market. So, kapag medyo mataas ang bilihin natin, it means mataas yung cost, mataas yung bibili natin mga raw materials. So, that will be one of the reasons para magtaas din tayo ng presyo. Okay? And also, price means quality. Kapag mataas ang presyo, means mataas yung quality niya. Okay? So, these are some of the things how price affects each other. So, that's all about the pricing in the tourism industry. I hope this video will help you to understand the PowerPoint that I'm going to give you so that when I'm going to give it to all of you, you would understand it well. Okay? So, kindly use this video as a way of learning and knowing the things, and at the same time making this as your medium how to learn about our topics. Okay, so I'm sorry that I'm wearing this kind of clothes. It's very emergency discussion and it's only in our house, so sorry kung ganito yung itsura, but what is important is that I was able to give you this kind of information. Okay, so bye everyone, keep safe, keep only in your house, and I will always help you to deal with your topics and then to support you. Okay, bye guys, see you in our next video discussion.